So our video game um, is called Dungeons and Creatures, and it's a dungeon crawler um, that allows you to move around and shoot enemies, collect coins, collect HP, and there's a boss at the end. And so I will leave it now to my group to present the slides. So up first we have Luke.
My name is Luke. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So how to play, it's pretty simple. You use the WASD keys to move. And your bow, as you can see in those 4 pictures there, it'll follow your cursor wherever you are. And of course, left click to shoot.
When we were developing this game, it was really difficult to, or we had very tricky things, like specifically when it came to our tile maps, we had a bunch of errors and index out of ranges when it came to creating the different maps and levels for our game. And for us, we had to learn about classes and how to create different objects and learn about object-oriented learning to create our characters, enemies, the weapons that the character is able to use. And we implemented different audio effects for specific actions, like if a arrow collides with the enemy, it creates or it uses the little sound effect that we have for the arrow hitting the enemy. And for our main game loop and our logic, we constantly check if the player is trying to move with WASD, trying to shoot with the bow, and making sure that all the collision logic is correctly utilized. So when we implemented the visuals, when it came to our game, we first had to create all of our classes that we need. Like we had a class called characters, and that gave us a general network like framework to create our player, which we just set a different variable to a character type, where it said if character type was a certain number, it would say, okay, this is the player. And if it was anything else, it was an enemy, and we had to attach an AI to that enemy. And the AI basically logic just said, hey, if this line that shoots out around the whole enemy, if a player hits that, go towards the player. And another visual like game logic that we had was the little menu that you had like around the level, where it told you level 1, how many hearts you had. And also when it came for our start screen, we had different buttons, like the start button, which started our game, an exit button, which lets you exit out of the game. And when you died, there was a restart button after the screen fade that happened after death.
Yeah, and then, well, we all kind of worked on the main game loop together, so that's not really something I want to mention. But I personally helped to do some of the logic for how the map itself worked and which tiles, for example, the character could walk over and where they'd collide with the wall and not be able to go through, and just how other objects and the enemies and the AI would interact with the map.
As said before, we all did like the main game loop, so I won't talk about that either. I designed a level, and I just like put the tiles and the coins in, and I also implemented the visuals, like the images and stuff.
I did the beginning of the game, like the setup. Essentially, all that's happening there is we set up the main screen that you can actually see all the visuals, define the game variables, movement variables, the font that we used. We also used the setup to start the music and sounds, load them all together, and also load all the button images and the heart images you'll be able to see once we demo the game.
I'm Anish, and I just help like implement some of the style design, such as like the small effects that we add for some of our different items, and just the main thing.
So the main issues we had were like level design. So when we were developing the levels, we had stumbled upon like accessing errors and faulty game map logic. So in order to fix that, we kind of did trial and error in the end, but we worked as a team in that. So it kind of made the problem not as huge as it was in the beginning. As for enemy AI, the enemy AI needed a lot of testing as it frequently did not work and had a lot of mathematics had to be used. Again, we kind of like worked together to kind of just like get that to work and implement that into the game. And as for the end game, we adding levels like to the game, it became troublesome at one point because of the way it was implemented. So we kind of like it was similar to like the trial and error. We were just testing things out and kind of like looking into the code more. And in the end, we kind of found out like what was the problem and we fixed that in the code.
Yeah, and if we had more time to work on this project, some of the things that we would add would be more items, because right now we only have coins to keep track of the type of score, and a little health potion that'll give you back some of your health. And if we had more time, we could add just more other things. We'd also add different classes that would give you different play styles, whereas right now we only have one kind of character, which is the archer that uses the bow. We could have maybe added a melee character that would, attack with a sword, or a wizard character that would, I don't know, just do something different. We'd also add more enemies, because we have quite a few enemies. We have like 6 or 7 different types, but the more the merrier, and it could make for more variety in the game. And just more actual magic in the game, which could be very interesting because it could again provide a lot of this like variability. And we try to scale the damage and just play around with that a bit more and to see how it would work out. That's that.
All right. Without further ado, enough talking. Let's showcase our game. So, Leon, you will be playtesting the game. And while Leon will be playing, William will be explaining the various features. Leon, make sure you have the volume on as well, the bottom right. Leon, make sure you have the volume on. Yeah. You have to click the...
Is it on? Because I
You have to click the
shared.
square on the bottom right.
Yes.
There you go.
All right, so as we can see here, the bow of the character is following Leon's cursor. You can actually see this, and whenever he clicks, you see the arrow is flying, and as soon as they hit, there is a damage text that pops up and tells you how much damage was done to each kind of person. Whenever he goes over a coin, you can hear a little ding noise that lets you know that, oh, hey, this coin, or you picked up this coin. And he walks with WASD, as we said before. And at the top of the screen, you can see there's 5 different hearts, and whenever he gets too close to an enemy, he'll lose half of 1 heart. And at the top, you can also see that it says the level where he's at. And just now, if you looked, you saw that Leon picked up a little health potion, and half of 1 heart came back to him. There's also the coins that are being tracked at the top, just as a sort of score to let you know what's happening. And whenever Leon walks into that special tile that has the ladder in it, it goes on to the next level. And we have 3, but technically 4 levels. with the boss being on the 3rd level. And as Leon kind of runs through it, the main objective of the game is just to get to the boss and attack and beat the boss. And whenever Leon would hit 0 hearts, he'd die, which we can demonstrate at the end so he doesn't have to restart the game. But right now you'll be able to see the boss. The boss shoots fireballs that follow Leon through the screen. I think Leon's trying to get himself killed, because after that happens, this red screen falls down and you get a restart button. And after you click the restart button, you just come back to the level that you were at before, and then you get to try again. And as you can see, the boss here aims the fireballs to go directly at the person, but they do go through the general map. And then this is just the end screen with a bunch of coins for you to collect if you really want to. And then if you go down, you just get this little win sign. A new little tune plays. And then that's it. The game just terminates.